The final part of the 7th anniversary is here, but if you're free to play, summoning on the wrong banner could ruin your entire grind. Hey, Grimmy here, and today I'm jumping into what banners you should prioritize summoning on for part 3 of Dragon Ball Legends 7th anniversary. This one is definitely for all the free-to-play players out there. Part 3 will be your last chance to pull any long-term game-defining unit, so it's best to aim for the best you can get with however many Chrono Crystals you still have. This video will essentially be your guide to make the most out of the CC you spend for this final part of the anniversary. But before we talk about summoning strategies, let's quickly break down what the whole 7th anniversary brings to the table. The 7th anniversary banner landscape. The first part of the anniversary brought us transforming MUI Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. And more importantly, their banners. MUI Goku is a patience-heavy passive character, low skill requirement, high damage with a few safeguards that prop him up as one of the strongest units out of the bunch. Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, on the other hand, is an aggression-heavy character. Long combos, high damage, some safeguards, but with some glaring flaws that hold him back a bit, weakening his position amongst the other 7th anniversary units. Caulifla Kale from Goku's banner puts a focus on self-sustaining high survivability, while Kaba from Vegeta's banner puts a greater focus on team-wide support and damage. The second part of the anniversary brought us the Saiyan Saga icons. Kaioken Goku is an offensive unit with the highest damage out of any Sparking here, and a defensive unique gauge to bolster his defenses. Vegeta also puts the spotlight on his damage, and while it may not be as hard-hitting as Goku, Vegeta wins in terms of survivability gimmicks thanks to his revival that gives him a vital second life for key points of the fight. Tien and Chaozu from Goku's banner are a reliable unit with good damage and a powerful second life thanks to their succession ability, while Nappa and his Cybermen are a much more experimental, gimmicky character that can only really be good in some specific situations. The third and final part of the anniversary brought us Ultra Super Saiyan Goku, yes, another one, the summonable version, and Ultra Full Power Frieza on their separate banners. Goku is a really good offensive unit with a unique gimmick, KO Guard, basically granting a comeback for himself or his first ally to be defeated. Frieza, on the other hand, is all offense, with accessible damage and an active gauge that you can spam, by the way, launching a death beam which you can combo from and into. These banners all expire 2 weeks after the part 3 drop, basically like less than a week as this video is being recorded. And the triple Z power buff for the part 1 and 2 banners have officially worn off, but I doubt that'll be too big of a deal. What's important here is for part 3. Frieza's second step has a triple rates instead of double rates, which is pretty huge, and there's also an event that drops multi-Z power for Frieza specifically. And now, with a better understanding of the banners available, let's get into what this video is all about. Who to summon first. This part of the video is meant to be a way to decide where to spend your CC first. It obviously has to be one of the Ultras, but who exactly? I'll let you decide. Goku is clearly the better unit, right? Because he balances offense and defense much better, and that means he has a better shot of aging in the evolving PvP landscape moving forward, especially with him being arguably the strongest team player in the game. And you compare that to a unit like Frieza, who is all offense, and yes, he does have endurance, and okay, his offense is insane. He melts literally everyone, indiscriminately, and he does actually have endurance. But even so, overall he'll likely have a tougher time holding on to his position in the meta as stronger defensive units start popping up with basically better base defense stats. On the other hand though, Frieza's banner has better rates for him overall, and the special event that gives you exclusive multi-Z power means pulling him and building him up will be a lot easier compared to Goku. If you want a more in-depth look at this comparison and which unit I prefer, check out the video on the top right corner of the screen. And now, let's say you get lucky, and you manage to pull the first Ultra of your choice. Now what? Who to summon next? The second banner you should focus on is going to be the other Ultra. So if you go for Goku first, do Frieza's banner next. If you focused on Frieza first, you should focus on Goku's banner next. Because I feel like both units will likely stay in the meta for longer than any of the LFs here from the 7th anniversary, and so prioritize pulling them first. I think the next banner you should summon on is Vegeta's banner, right? Because Vegeta counters a lot of blue units, and there are a lot of blue units out there like MUI Goku as well as Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku, even if, you know, now with Frieza running around, you probably don't really need him to counter blue units all that much, but he's still going to be really useful thanks to his revive. It allows him to age a lot better because in the future, when they eventually drop a really powerful DPS character with no survivability safeguards, you still have a unit like Vegeta, who is a really new unit and will probably last for a pretty long time in terms of his value on your team. And you know, there isn't really much to gain from Nappa, but again, you're not summoning on Vegeta's banner for Nappa here. And the next unit you should probably summon on, the next banner, would probably be MUI Goku. Sorry, not him. MUI Goku. MUI Goku I feel like has a strong presence, and it will be a while before he actually starts falling off. Remember, he has high damage and an evasion, which is pretty strong. As long as you practice patience with him, you will be able to essentially reap the benefits of rocking him on almost any team. Now granted, compared to the Ultras, he's nothing nearly as strong, and he only has an endurance. He doesn't even have buff cancel to go along with it. So while he's not the best, I feel like out of the rest of the options, he's a really solid pick. Probably the better one out of the two bottom ones. And you don't really have much to gain from summoning on Kale and Caulifla. Again, you are not gunning for these two on Goku's banner, right? You're summoning on Goku's banner for Goku. And the next banner you should focus on would probably be Kaiken Goku, because he's an effective DPS against everyone thanks to his relatively consistent type neutrality, though he does have some defensive weaknesses even with his defensive unique gauge, right? He's still very vulnerable. Again, he doesn't really have endurance or anything like that, which is why I feel like a unit like Ultra Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta here as well have a lot of value, because not every unit has endurance or that kind of survivability gimmick. And obviously, Goku being a unit who leans into damage a lot would probably mean that he's gonna age out a lot easier. Though, in terms of the 1% sparking, I feel like you have a lot to gain from pulling Tien and Chaozu, just because they have that succession gimmick. So in the case where you aren't very lucky with Vegeta, or you're looking to have another unit with a good survivability gimmick, Tien and Chaozu are a great unit to lean on. And now for the final banner that you should go for, if you've managed to finish all of the units here, managed to pull all of them, the next banner you should go for is probably going to be Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta's banner, because he's arguably the worst one out of all of the premium 7th anniversary units, because he does do like long combos, but he has like he's so weak. Like generally, he has a lot of damage, but in terms of actually keeping up, sustaining what he's supposed to do best, which is doing long combos, he fails. He just does like a really bad job, especially in a PvP landscape where Paralyze is still running out there, even though it's not nearly as popular as it once was in the Daima meta. And with Akaba, I feel like he's actually a secretly, a pretty decent, underrated unit, though I don't really feel he'll have much of an impact, especially against a unit like Ultra Frieza, because again, like these guys just get melted all the same, though he does have the color advantage against Super Saiyan Goku, so who knows, maybe that would mean that he would have value in the long term. Also, just as a note here, after securing the first or second banner unit, don't hesitate to budget your CC for the other banners mentioned in this part of the video. So, say for example you have 8k CC left over from the second Ultra, so you pull both Goku and Frieza here and you have 8,000 Chrono Crystals left. Beautiful, amazing. And then you move over to Vegeta's banner, right? Then you don't pull a single copy of Vegeta, you're just really unlucky for Vegeta for some reason, after say 5,000 Chrono Crystals spent. I actually don't think it's a bad idea to ignore the big pity reward and put a greater focus on other units, or at least units on the next step. So then move over to MUI Goku's banner just to widen the net as wide as possible. As long as you've secured the strongest on the list, that being the Ultra units, at least one of them, there's a lot more freedom for how much CC you want to spend on the other characters. Budgeting is a really important element here. You want to make sure that you don't spend too much on one banner, especially because, you run the risk of kind of missing out on one specific unit that may actually be really, really good moving forward in the meta, in like any specific meta situation. And now let's say you got really lucky and you pulled everything the 7th anniversary banners have to offer. Here's what you need to do to avoid any kind of blunder decisions. The banners to avoid: skip Daima or any other pickup banners, skip Revival Ultra banners like with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here, with all of the Gogetas here actually, and obviously skip like any of these. Hold on, let me look for them. Skip these, like hell no, do not touch these for the 7th anniversary, alright? Once you've pulled everything all the way down to Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta's banner, it would actually be better to loop back to either Goku or Frieza's banner to try for another copy, or aim all the way to 14 stars, as unlikely as that may be. Just make sure that you focus on the 7th anniversary banners that are available for a limited time, because you never know when they'll be coming back, especially with Frieza's banner, because, obviously, this particular attachment, this modification here is limited to only now in the 7th anniversary, which is just something to put into consideration. And with that, here's your quick cheat sheet recap for the best possibilities on your 7th anniversary summons. Strategy recap. Start with one of the Ultra banners until you pull the Ultra, either Goku or Frieza. then move over to the other Ultra, again, either Goku or Frieza, whichever you didn't pull for the first one. And then move over to regular base Vegeta, then MUI Goku, and then go back to part 2 for Kaioken Goku, and then finally to Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. Skip returning banners or any other filler banner or bait banner, and instead go back to Goku or Frieza's banner when you finished off every single banner on the list, and repeat the cycle instead, just to maximize value, because you never know when these characters are going to come back, when these specific Ultra Rising banners are going to come back. And now, comment if you have any tweaks for this strategy down below. I want everyone to point out any mistakes or oversights I may have missed to mention on this list. I'm hoping to keep the 7th anniversary ball rolling, so if you want to know my Ultra predictions and how right they were, you can check the video on your left. And if you want to know how well my content wishlist aged for part 3, you can check the video on your right. And yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Bye, thanks for watching, never stay perfect, always get better. Peace.